sort of RDI as a program is new to, like, you're just getting me into it. So when you first mentioned it, I was like, because it's very parent focused, like the way it's first described is very parent focused.
Yeah.
So from where I sit as an EA, it was hard for me to see how I do that, because it is talked about a lot in relationship to parents and child, right? So so, but it is, I mean, it's a whole way of being with kids,
right? There's someone you respect, there's someone you look up to, there's someone that you need to build a relationship with, or that they're building a relationship with. And the more people we have on the same page, like anything, using the same language, and from my perspective, it's not even using the same language, it's using the same approach.
So when they use
what separates relationship development intervention from like ABA or some of those other therapies is that we don't teach kids what to think, we teach them how to think, and we don't teach them in scripted how to think. I don't ask kids to, what are your eyes thinking? Or some of these scripted things that become social thinking stories or social thinking language. But you would never, you would never use those in real life.
Yeah. So for example, like other therapies would sort of would say, okay, when someone says to you, how are you? This is how you respond. So it becomes a scripted way of responding rather than teaching the child, like more engagement with the child to know, well, why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Well, is that really how you feel? Like, what are we asking? Like, are you fine? Like, what are we asking you? And how do we explain to you how that feels in your body? Right.
Yeah. Because those words don't have meaning until they know what that feeling inside their body is.
I mean, it's socially acceptable.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's, you know,
it's totally
somebody will
socially
but it's not supporting, in my opinion, it's not supporting a child in growth,
in thinking for themselves, for sure.
Yeah.
And do you think, like with the little cards too, like if a smiley face, I'm feeling happy, unless they know what that feels like, are they just giving you that card? Or because
that's a great question. It could go two ways, because it could be like when you ask me how we are, because when you ask kids a question, and we will get into declarative language, because to understand co-regulation, we should have really done her first book first. But we'll cover that. But like, when, doesn't matter what child you give, but at a certain stage of development, they see questions as demands, as right and wrong answers. So what they've learned is that when you ask, how are you? I give you a smiley face. That's how I always, regardless of how I might feel.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just equate that with the picture, because sometimes the child does know, if they can pick out from 5 different pictures and they just don't have words, they might be telling me I'm sick, but the SLPA in me would be like, well, then I would like them to have a pod so they can say more to say, telling you something, or I'm feeling mad, and then you can go because and find their page so that they can explain why they're mad if they don't have the language to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want it just to be training, right? It's to actually feel that way rather than just being trained to.
Well, and I do, there are some, like, I'm not saying some of those therapies have good pieces. Like, I really love the color, the zones of regulation. I'm yellow right now. I'm wiggly. I could be wiggly because I'm excited. I could be wiggly because I'm nervous. I could be wiggly because I have to go pee.
Yeah.
But it's helping them identify something in their body.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right? And then we can expand on that. But if they can just, and it's one of those things, soon as they can label it, now it doesn't have as much power in their body. I'm mad. Like, I don't know, Sydney, did I ever tell you this? I had a little guy in a daycare who would like literally lash out when he got upset. He'd like push his friends. because he didn't have the language to tell them what he wants. So we taught him, don't get me wrong, it was months and months of practice, but he would point up his fingers and his face and he would stomp. I'm so mad. But it gave us at the daycare heads up that something was wrong and he wasn't taking it out on his friends. Oh, I see you need some help. I see you're frustrated. What's going on? Let's take some deep breaths. And then out comes the like shape breaths.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like whatever their coping mechanism is, but we interrupted that habit cycle of push. Like cortisol rush, push. We interrupted it, but it took a long time to break that habit loop.
Well, and it's also catching it before it gets to the pushing stage, right? It's realizing, okay, it's getting to that stage, and it's kind of recognizing.
When I feel this in my body, this is something I can. This is the way I choose to deal with it now because I know better or because I'm aware of it. Right? Because when you ask the kids why they did it, they say it just happens. They're not lying. It was an impulse. They just don't have the executive functioning yet to be like, stop. Last time I pushed my friend, that didn't end well for me. Right?
Yeah.
Just like, ah.
The zones, I find that like a lot of places do the zones of regulation, but it's a really involved program if you want to do it,
and if you want to do
properly, because all of those colors have feeling, and it's not just mad, sad, happy. It's like cold or hot or sick or like it's a lot of explanation you have to go through for kids to understand how they relate.
Well, and it starts building that network, like you say, like you just start labeling it a color. I see your body showing me that it might be red or yellow right now. Then we can expand on and grow that network of what red means, what yellow means. And but the more you're labeling, oh, you're yellow. Oh, do you remember last time, like we talked about at a coffee date, linking a past experience to this one? So you're really wiggly because you're excited right now. We're going to do something really fun. But last time you were really wiggly before you wrote the test because you were scared or because you were anxious. I had the same feeling. And it's the same color, but it's a different thing. The same but different?
Yeah, you still got the same feelings inside, but it's caused by something different.
Yeah. And your brain gets to interpret what that feeling is. You can choose to be scared or you can choose to be excited. That's a really high-end level of this, but I mean, most adults still can't do that, so I don't expect kids to.
No.